So hello, everybody. My name is Mick. I'm an international recruiter with Nova Southeastern University, and we're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So down by Miami, I'm sure all of you are familiar with Miami, and we're about 20 minutes north of Miami. And so I'll be going over some of our great scholarship opportunities and going over some different ways that can help you afford to study at NSU. You can see here, as I mentioned, we're in South Florida, where you can see where that is on the map. So we do have warm weather all year round. It's about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. We're about 10 minutes or so from the beach. So it's a really great location. Fort Lauderdale is a fairly large city, but again, we're 20 minutes away from Miami, which is an even bigger city. So there are lots of opportunities for students on campus. Just a little bit about the university itself. We have around 6,600 undergraduate students, but we do have around 25,000 total students on campus because we have a lot of graduate programs as well. And so for undergraduate students, you're going to have about 17 students per class. And we are a research institution. So we have over 150 ongoing research projects on campus. And of course, a lot of those are going to be for graduate students, but even our undergraduate students, and sometimes even your first year, can participate in working in lab work and doing some basic work in those research projects. And like the other universities, I think we're also very dedicated to getting students from all over the world. As you can see, we have students from every state in the US and from over 115 different countries. So we do have students from all over. And I think we have around, if you count graduate students, around 1,000 or 1,200, somewhere in that range, international students on campus. So I'll cover this a bit more in a moment, but every student who gets admitted to Nova South, every undergraduate student who gets admitted to NSU receives a scholarship of between $10,000 to $20,000 per year. That's automatic. You don't have to do anything extra. And we'll get over the cost here in a minute. But in addition to scholarships, there are a number of different ways that you can get a little bit more scholarship money, but make your education more affordable. So we do have a lot of additional programs that students can apply for. And with those programs comes some extra scholarship money. But more importantly, or as importantly, a lot of those scholarships will come with, you'll be part of a program where you will be with a cohort of other students in that scholarship and get a lot of educational opportunities outside the classroom that will really give you more bang for your buck for your education. But we also have a few 3+1 programs, which will speed up get you a graduate degree and an undergraduate and speed up your education, which isn't a scholarship, but it's going to save you a full year or two worth of tuition. So we do have an honors college for those of you that doesn't necessarily come with more scholarship money, but for those of you who are high achieving students, you can apply for our honors college. And all these next programs I'm talking about are called our premier programs. So they're all lumped together. You apply for those separately with your application for admission. We also have the Razor's Edge Scholars Program, which you can see these are 4-year residential programs. There are 5 tracks for those. There's one for global issues, for research, for leadership, Shark Talent, which is like performing arts, and Shark Teach. And so students who earn those scholarships, you'll interview for them, apply and interview. You will be living on campus all 4 years. You'll get a little bit additional scholarship money to help pay for the dorms and the meal plans. But you'll be with a cohort of other students who also earn that scholarship, and you'll be doing a lot of extra educational opportunities outside the classroom, like I said. We also have what are called dual admission programs. And with the dual admission programs, students who apply for those will automatically have their seat in the graduate program of their choice reserved for them. And so you won't have to apply. Let's say you want to get an MBA. You come and get your undergraduate, you apply dual admission for undergraduate business, and you're admitted at that point to the MBA program. So you already know you're admitted to NSU's MBA program. You have to meet all the requirements, but you don't have to go on and apply later. So that's not necessarily something that's going to save you money, but it's going to save you a lot of stress and hassle down the road. We also have the Fischler Academy, and this is for students in education, which I'm not sure how many of you here would be interested in education, but with this program, it's an accelerated bachelor's and master's degree. So you're going to get your bachelor's and your master's in education in 4 years, which is a 3+1 program. You have guaranteed job placement in a South Florida school district. So that's a really exciting program. Not too many international students admittedly apply for that one. But for this one, it's we get a lot of international students who apply and award it. So I think that's one thing to point with these programs is often students think, well, I'm an international student, I'm not eligible, or I'm less likely to get it. That's not the case. At NSU, everybody is considered, doesn't matter where you're from, you have the same opportunity. So you're paying the same tuition, you have the same scholarships. That doesn't matter if you're from Fort Lauderdale or from, Bangladesh, wherever it is, you're going to be paying, you're going to have the same opportunities. So with this next program, it's the Huizenga Business Innovation Academy, which is for students who want to get into entrepreneurship to start your own business. And this is really an exciting scholarship. Students who earn this award are going to have an accelerated bachelor's and master's in business. So you're going to get your bachelor's and your master's in 4 years, which would typically take you 5.5 years at NSU. So again, the steps to apply for those particular programs, you would first just apply to the university. Second, you'll submit your Premier Programs application. If any of you are interested in this, it is closed for this year. So for any of you wanting to start in fall 23, the deadline is passed. But if any of you want fall 24 or fall 25, you can apply for that coming in September. But yeah, once you submit the Premier Programs application, you will then attend an interview at Shark Preview Weekend, which is like a fun weekend on campus. But we also have virtual versions of it as well for students who can't make it to campus for their designated weekend. Now, as far as our costs and scholarships, just to give you an idea, you can see that our estimated tuition and fees is around $39,100 per year. But again, as I mentioned, every student who gets admitted is automatically receiving our Dean Scholarship, and that's from $10,000 to $20,000 per year. And the amount is mostly going to be based off of your grades. So the higher your GPA, your English level might count a little bit, not too much. SAT is optional, but for students who submit SAT and score really high, like let's say over an 1100 or over 1200, that should give you a little bit more scholarship money as well. And so everyone's going to get that. So you can see if you get really good grades, over half of your tuition and fees can be covered by those scholarships. And it's the same, again, it's the same for everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from. You're an international student, this applies to you. And then our average cost for a room and board is around $11,200 per year, which is pretty reasonably priced for South Florida. South Florida is a fairly expensive part of the country. Now for the Premier Program scholarships that we just covered in the previous slides, as I mentioned, those have some additional scholarship money as well. And if you earned any of those scholarships would take the place of your Dean Scholarship. So you don't get both. So for example, if you received any of those Razor's Edge Scholars, which were the 5 different tracks, you get $24,000 a year. So basically what that means is you're going to get $20,000 a year scholarship, which is our maximum, plus the $4,000 to help you pay for your time living on campus. And then with the Fischler Academy and the Huizenga, which you'll remember Fischler was the education 3+1. So you're already saving a lot of money by doing a 3+1, you're saving several years worth of tuition. That's our max scholarship of $20,000 in addition to the 3+1. And then with Huizenga, which is the entrepreneurship scholarship, you get $20,000 per year in addition to the other benefits like the investing in your startup business after you graduate. A common question is, do we have full scholarships? And we do, but students cannot apply for them. So you'll see here, we have the Presidential Scholars. And this is invitation only, that's full tuition. So you still have to pay your living expenses like food and housing, but it is full tuition. But again, students can't apply for that. All you can do is apply for admission, and then the top applicants every year will be invited by the university to interview for that scholarship. And it's hard to get. Only about 30 students per year receive the full tuition scholarship, and we have maybe 15,000 applicants. So it's very, very hard to get. It is possible, but students say, what can I do to get it? There's nothing you can really do except for have a great high school career. You get good grades, you had a good SAT score, and you submit a really strong application, and then you'll be invited. And so here's a QR code you can grab if you wanted to get more information about the university. And I did forget to include a slide, but we also have campus jobs. I know that was mentioned by the other universities, and international students do have those jobs on campus. And same as the others, you can work a maximum of 20 hours per week on campus. The jobs aren't too complicated, but it's a nice way for international students to make a few extra $1,000 to help pay for their education. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.